The story begins in Shanghai. Inside a quiet room, a woman with blue-green hair, Zhang Wanxin, gently nurses her newborn son. She softly tells him, Lin Zichen, how fortunate he is. His only tasks are eating and sleeping, while she stays awake through the nights. Still, she smiles, believing every sleepless moment is worth it if her child grows strong and healthy. But the infant in her arms is no ordinary baby. Lin Zichen carries the consciousness of his past life. Even as he feeds, he notes that while his brain is still underdeveloped, his awareness remains intact. Suddenly, a glowing blue screen appears before him, displaying his status. Lin Zichen, 33 days old, biological level, ordinary tier 1. In that instant, he realizes he has been granted a special ability. 3 months later, Lin Zichen lies in his crib as his parents, Zhang Wanxin and Lin Yinsheng, watch over him. His father marvels at the child's extraordinary strength, predicting he could one day become a powerful gene fuser, or at the very least, a cyborg. As they speak, the baby kicks repeatedly. A system notification appears, 10,000 kicks achieved. His reward? A new skill, biological attribute use and advance. With this, any part of his body he trains can grow endlessly stronger, as long as it remains within the limits of a carbon-based life form. Feeling his power rise, Lin Zichen wonders about these gene fusers and cyborgs, picturing them as superheroes. By 4 months old, he has learned to sit and crawl. To avoid alarming his parents, he only trains at night. Each crawl earns him points from his system. A month later, he masters walking. At 6 months, he finally allows himself to crawl and sit in front of his parents without drawing suspicion. One evening, while the family watches television, the news shows a battle against monstrous aberrant beasts. Gene fusers and cyborgs fight side by side to hold the line. For the first time, Lin Zichen understands. This world is nothing like the one he came from. Earth has changed. Mutations gave birth to terrifying creatures known as aberrant beasts. To fight back, humanity walked 2 paths. The first, mechanical ascension, turning the body into a powerful machine, creating cyborgs. The second, gene modification, fusing human genes with those of aberrant beasts, forging gene fusers who wield monstrous power themselves. Realizing how dangerous this world truly is, Lin Zichen resolves to grow stronger using his system, but to do so quietly. His plan, evolve in secret, survive, and endure. One day, the doorbell rings. Zhang Wanxin opens the door to greet a woman in a blue dress, Su Ming, their new neighbor. Beside her stands her husband, Shun Jianya, and their young daughter, Shun Qinghan, clutching a doll tightly in her arms. Lin Zichen's gaze lingers on the little girl with purple hair. In that instant, he silently acknowledges her as his very first friend in this world, instinctively sensing that their fates will one day be deeply intertwined. Time moves forward, and Lin Zichen throws himself into training. By the time he reaches 7 months, his use and advanced skill has already allowed him to master running, jumping, and even basic speech, which he practices by quietly talking to himself. Each effort earns him more stat points. At 8 months, he pushes his body even further, doing sit-ups and push-ups inside his crib. He always trains in secret, careful not to raise suspicion. But one day, while exercising on a balcony, his mother unexpectedly walks in. Her eyes widen in shock at the sight of her baby performing sit-ups. She rubs her eyes, unable to believe what she's seeing. In the end, she convinces herself it's just stress-induced hallucinations from writing too much. Lin Zichen instantly drops down and pretends to be asleep, quietly relieved and vowing to be more careful. A few days later, another slip-up occurs. During bath time, Zhang Wanxin notices her son's small frame and the unmistakable outline of defined abs. She lets out a scream and calls for her husband. Lin Yinsheng rushes in, and when he sees it for himself, he's stunned. Then excitement takes over as he proclaims their son might be a once-in-a-generation prodigy, destined to become a great gene fuser or cyborg. Hearing his father's enthusiastic explanation, Lin Zichen feels reassured. His parents see his progress as natural talent rather than anything suspicious. He reflects with some gratitude. Having 2 web novel authors as parents might be the best cover he could ask for. Not long after, while watching the news with his mother, he sees a report about a 2-year-old from a martial arts family who can lift a 20-kilo dumbbell with one hand. Zhang Wanxin hugs her son close and proudly insists her Lin Zichen is just as extraordinary. Lin Zichen is quietly moved by her unwavering faith in him. Deep down, He wonders if he too will be able to lift such weight when he reaches 2 years old. That day comes sooner than he realizes. By the time he turns 2, all his secret training pays off. Alone in the storage room, he grips a 20-kilo weight and lifts it with one hand effortlessly. Just as he's about to continue, his mother's voice calls out. Han Han, Shun Qinghan's nickname, has come over to play. Startled, Lin Zichen quickly sets the weight aside and heads for the door. Standing there is Shun Qinghan, now 2 years old as well, holding out a tart with a bright smile. Internally, Lin Zichen reflects that because of their mental ages, their playtime is far from ordinary. Han Han is still a typical toddler, while he treats every moment as training. Over time, he's come up with a unique solution. Since she loves following him around, she becomes his perfect, custom-sized weighted vest during exercise. But there's one recurring issue, and he's reminded of it yet again when he suddenly feels warmth spreading across him. He cries out in dismay. Han has peed on him once more. Another year passes. At 3 years old, his strength has soared. Now he can casually lift a 40-kilo weight with one hand. One day, while watching television, he sees a segment about a 4-year-old prodigy lifting a 30-kilo dumbbell. A small smile forms inside. He's already stronger. Still, despite his progress, his system stubbornly labels him as ordinary Tier 1. He can't help but wonder, what exactly must he do to break into Tier 2? With questions swirling in his mind, he steps outside his home for the very first time. The world beyond stuns him. A dazzling, futuristic city, alive with towering structures, bustling crowds, and strange figures. Among them are beast-like beings and cyborgs. He assumes these must be the gene fusers and mechanical ascendants he's heard of. He walks with his mother alongside their neighbors, Su Ming and little Shin Qinghan. Their destination, the library. Since his parents refuse to let him use electronic devices, he relies on books to uncover knowledge. Once there, his mother gently points him toward the children's section. But instead of colorful picture books, Lin Zichen wanders into the aisles stacked with advanced encyclopedias. Han Han trails close behind, worried he'll get scolded. The mothers, watching from a distance, whisper in confusion. Su Ming wonders why he's so drawn to difficult texts, while Zhang Wanxin simply shrugs and suggests it must be his genius genes. While Han Han offers him cookies, Lin Zichen stays deeply absorbed in the pages before him. Through these books, he uncovers the truth. All life is divided into 6 great biological levels: ordinary, advanced, rare, epic, legendary, and mythical, each split into 9 tiers. Suddenly, his own place becomes clear. Humans like his parents sit at the lowest rung, ordinary Tier 1, being so weak they're like ants before the higher levels. This revelation ignites his determination. He must train harder, grow faster, and climb beyond his current limits. Right then, his system pings with a new quest. Read 100 million characters. Reward, Celestial Route of Wisdom. Thrilled by the chance to sharpen both mind and body, he accepts without hesitation. For the next year, he divides his time between relentless training and devouring books. By the time he turns 4, his hard work bears fruit. He and Shun Qinghan walk hand in hand into kindergarten, guided by their teacher, Miss Jiangmi. His journey has only just begun. Not long after starting school, Lin Zichen finally breaks through to ordinary Tier 2. His progress is astonishing. He can lift an 80-kilo weight with a single hand, leap 1.2 meters in the air, and sprint 100 meters in under 11 seconds. Feats that would impress any adult, yet he's still just a kindergartner. One day, he comes across a group of children circling Shun Qinghan, who is crying while being mocked as a bedwetter. Seeing his friend bullied, Lin Zichen knows he cannot stand by. He springs forward, landing in the center of the group with dramatic force. Fixing the bullies with a glare, he delivers a chillingly childish threat. If they ever pick on Han Han again, he will pee on their beds every single day. The bizarre yet terrifying warning is enough. The children burst into tears and swear never to return to kindergarten. Shun Qinghan looks at her protector with newfound admiration. At that moment, Lin Zichen's system notifies him of a new achievement, the title of Kindergarten Kid King, along with a fresh set of quests. He's thrilled. Now he can work on multiple missions at once. Half a year later, he completes his massive reading quest. After consuming over 100 million characters, he earns the celestial root of wisdom. This grants him flawless eidetic memory and peak human learning abilities. Time races forward, and soon he and Shin Han are nearly 7, smiling together for their kindergarten graduation photo. Even during the long break, Lin Zichen never slows down. By now, he's strong enough to train with a 200-kilo barbell. His physical abilities climb to new heights. He can clear a 2-meter jump with ease and runs the 100 meters in an incredible 7.98 seconds. His mind advances just as quickly, boosted by his new attribute. He masters the elementary school curriculum far ahead of schedule. When he begins at Sunshine Elementary School, academic contests feel like child's play. He effortlessly claims first place in a national elementary academic competition, all to unlock another title as fast as possible. Outside competitions, he spends his spare time tutoring Shin Han. Though she lacks natural genius, her diligence shines. With his help, her grades soar, and by the end of the semester, she ranks second in class, just behind Lin Zichen himself. To speed up his quest further, he throws himself into athletics as well, shattering every school sports record. Just when he begins to think his school life will follow this predictable routine, something unexpected happens. A new transfer student arrives. The teacher introduces her as Bai, a girl with long, silvery blue hair. The moment Lin Zichen sees her standing in the doorway, he senses it, an aura faint yet unmistakably different from any normal human. As the new transfer student, Bai Shui, walks to her seat, the classroom is filled with curious eyes following her every step. Beside Lin Zichen, Shin Han, who always calls him Xiao Chun, leans in and whispers that Bai's silvery blue hair looks like falling snow. But Lin Zichen isn't paying attention to appearances. His focus is fixed on the faint, unusual aura radiating from her. It isn't human. Could she be a gene fuser, or perhaps the descendant of one? Over the following days, Bai Shui remains a mystery. She speaks to no one, and the moment class ends, she lowers her head onto the desk and stays perfectly still. She hardly even leaves for the restroom. At first, the class buzzes with curiosity. Some students even take photos beside her as she sleeps. But her behavior never changes. Before long, everyone grows bored, and the classroom returns to normal. That calm is shattered a month later. Without warning, something strange begins to happen. A thick, white liquid starts seeping from Bai Shui, soaking through her clothes and dripping down her legs. The smell is unbearable. The classroom fills with complaints as students recoil in disgust. One boy sneers, mocking her with cruel words. He takes it a step further, uncapping his water bottle and dumping it over her head, laughing that he's washing her clean. Humiliated and drenched, Bai Shui trembles at her desk. Her fists clench tightly as silent tears stream down her face. The bullies laugh louder at her misery. From their desks, Shin Han turns to Lin Zichen with worry in her eyes, asking softly if they can help. Lin Zichen hesitates. He had sensed danger in Bai's presence before, so why is she crying like this? After a moment, he makes up his mind. Right now, she isn't a threat. She's just a girl being bullied, and that means he has to step in. He walks straight to the front and grabs the ringleader, Guan Chun, by the collar. With a sharp grin, he growls his command. Wipe the water off Bai Shui's desk. Guan Chun freezes, fear flooding his face. He stammers quickly, agreeing to clean it. The rest of the bullies know better than to resist. Everyone in school has heard of Lin Zichen. Brilliant in academics, unstoppable in fights. Even 6th graders steer clear of him. Panicked, they scramble for tissues and rush to clean up the mess. Once the desk is spotless, Lin Zichen's eyes sweep over the group. His voice hardens as he gives one final order. All of them must apologize to Bai Shui, right here and now. Under his glare, the bullies break. Drenched in sweat, they bow their heads and mutter their apologies without hesitation. One by one, the bullies line up in front of Bai Shui's desk, bowing their heads and stammering apologies. Each promises never to trouble her again before quickly retreating. When the classroom quiets, Bai Shui slowly raises her head. Her eyes are still wet with tears, but her voice trembles with gratitude as she thanks both Lin Zichen and Shin Han. Shin Han steps forward, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. She tells Bai firmly that classmates are meant to look out for each other. From that day onward, Shun Qinghan takes it upon herself to befriend the quiet, white-haired girl, dragging Lin Zichen along with her. The three of them begin spending their free time together. Shun Qinghan is especially attentive, always offering by her best snacks before anyone else. During one such moment, Bai Shui hesitates, staring at the treats in Shun Qinghan's hands. She lowers her eyes and asks softly if they aren't disgusted by her, by the strange smell she carries. She admits she's sorry for doubting them, but ever since she was little, people have pushed her away. To her, kindness feels unreal, like a dream she might wake up from at any moment. Shun Qinghan shakes her head and answers firmly, "This is no dream." With a gentle smile, she says she knows what it feels like, so she could never be disgusted. She declares that if Bai Shui is willing, they will be friends forever. She pulls a reluctant Lin Zichen into the promise as well. Overwhelmed, Bai Shui throws her arms around Shun Qinghan, tears of relief streaming down her cheeks as she thanks them both. Once she calms down, she says she wants to give them something in return. Reaching into her things, she produces a necklace strung with a pair of beast fangs. She explains it had been a birthday gift from her mother, and now she wants it to serve as the symbol of their friendship. Shun Qinghan beams with excitement, accepting it without hesitation. That evening, as the sun sets over the schoolyard, the three children stand side by side, joyfully declaring that they will be friends forever. But just as their bond seems unbreakable, the unexpected strikes. One day, Shun Qinghan is stunned to discover that Bai Shui has suddenly transferred out of the school. When she asks Lin Zichen about it, he confirms the truth. He had seen her signing the withdrawal papers himself. His mind flashes back to that moment. From the principal's office doorway, he had watched Bai Shui seated with the principal and a towering man whose cybernetic arms gleamed under the light. The principal assured the man that her paperwork was in order and that all of her records would remain strictly confidential. That encounter only cemented Lin Zichen's suspicion. Bai Shui's identity was anything but ordinary. And from that day forward, she vanished from their lives. He never saw her again. Yet as time moved on, it wasn't her disappearance that dominated his thoughts. What came afterward demanded his full attention. One evening, Lin Zichen is at home, standing behind his mother Zhang Wanxin as he massages her shoulders. She lets out a contented sigh, saying the massage feels perfect after a long day spent typing. Lin Zichen smiles inwardly. Thanks to the celestial root of wisdom, he has mastered professional-level massage techniques, and now realizes just how useful this ability can be. Their quiet night is suddenly interrupted when the television blares with breaking news. The anchor announces yet another astonishing achievement by the Kyoto prodigy. At just 10 years old, the boy has successfully fused with aberrant beast genes. The broadcast shows him lifting a massive 500-kilo boulder with a single hand. Lin Zichen's eyes widen. He recognizes the boy instantly and realizes with a shock that his rival has already begun gene fusion. His father, Lin Yansheng, grumbles about it, muttering that the Kyoto prodigy seems to appear on television almost every day. What are they trying to do? Make him an influencer, he scoffs. The parents begin debating. Lin Yansheng explains that the boy belongs to a 1,000-year-old martial arts clan, meaning they likely have access to advanced fusion technology. Zhang Wanxin argues back that it's still wrong to treat a child like an experimental subject. Her husband shrugs, countering that in such families, the interests of the clan always outweigh the interests of the child. That earns him a sharp, sarcastic remark from his wife. "You seem to know everything, don't you?" While his parents bicker, Lin Zichen is deep in thought. He recalls that before fusion, the prodigy could only lift 100 kilos. After fusion, that number skyrocketed to 500 kilos, a 5-fold increase. By comparison, Lin himself, at only 8 years old and without any gene fusion, can already lift a 300-kilo weight with one hand. His lips curl into a confident smile as he clenches his fist. His potential is far greater than that of the Kyoto prodigy. But that surge of confidence is soon broken. The news cuts to another urgent report, this one far more terrifying. A neighboring city has been completely annihilated by a massive explosion. The footage reveals the cause, an invasion of giant aberrant rats. The screen flashes horrifying scenes, grotesque, oversized rats flooding through the ruined city, one snatching up a screaming woman in its jaws before devouring her alive. the anchors continue grimly, revealing that the attack was orchestrated by heretics, a cult operating in the shadows, manipulating the beast to strike at humanity. At a press conference, an official from Sakura country, the devastated nation, begs for international aid. He explains that these heretics are a treacherous anti-human organization, traitors who willingly serve the aberrant beasts. Watching the report, Lin Zichen feels a wave of relief that he was born in a strong and stable country. At least here, he has the chance to grow stronger while remaining under the radar. But his sense of security shatters in an instant. From outside, thunderous sonic booms split the night. Startled, Lin Zichen rushes to the window and pulls back the curtain. His eyes widen at the sight. A squadron of heavily armed cyborgs soaring across the sky. Why are so many being deployed at once? He wonders uneasily. Could something terrible already be happening? The next morning begins like any other. Lin Zichen waits outside until Shin Han comes running up, breathless as she apologizes for being late. As she approaches, his eyes flicker to the beast fong necklace hanging around her neck, the one by Shui had given them. Suddenly, it shines with a bright blue glow. Lin Zichen freezes. The aura he had once sensed makes sense now. That necklace wasn't ordinary. It was made from an aberrant beast fong. Just as quickly as it appeared, the glow fades. Neither of them dwell on it, but deep inside, Lin Zichen can't shake the unease building in his chest. Between the swarm of cyborgs he saw last night and this necklace's reaction, something dangerous is looming. On their way to school, they pass a street lamp where a striking woman leans casually against it. Her long red hair flows over a sleek black dress, and her sharp eyes lock onto them immediately. With a smile, she comments on how adorable they look and steps directly into their path, asking if they're brother and sister. Before Lin Zichen can answer, Shin Han proudly corrects her, announcing that they're childhood best friends. The woman's smile softens wistfully as she murmurs about wishing she had a childhood friend of her own. But then her tone shifts. Her eyes gleam with something darker, and she leans closer. She asks why the two of them are walking to school alone and where exactly their parents are. Shin Han is about to reply, but Lin Zichen quickly grabs her hand and cuts her off, pulling her forward with a firm, "We're going to be late." He doesn't look back. Once they put some distance between themselves and the stranger, he stops and gives Shin Han a gentle scolding. Never talk to strangers. She nods obediently, still shaken by the encounter. After school, Lin Zichen leads them along a shortcut, a deserted alleyway. Shin Han glances around nervously and whispers that the place feels creepy. He calmly explains that the area has already been cleared for demolition. That's why no one's around. But then, a chillingly familiar voice echoes through the alley. The red-haired woman steps out of the shadows, her lips curling into a knowing smile as she remarks on how the kids are finally done with school. This time, she's not alone. A massive man with bulging muscles looms behind her. "Shang," she calls, "I've got the kids over here." Lin Zichen's stomach sinks. He had purposely taken a different route, yet somehow she still managed to track them. With a sweet, sing-song voice, the woman tries to coax them closer, offering treats. But Shang loses patience almost instantly. He snarls at her to quit wasting time, then charges forward, holding a cloth soaked in something foul. "Let's just knock them out and sell them for cash," he growls. As the hulking man rushes in, Lin Zichen reacts instinctively. He shoves Shin Han aside and steps forward, bracing himself. His small fist tightens, every ounce of strength packed into one strike. Then he throws the punch. His fist slams squarely into Shang's face. The blow halts the man mid-charge, and in the next instant, the force launches him backward, sending his massive body crashing down the alley with a thunderous cry of pain. The red-haired woman stares in disbelief, eyes wide. A single child had just sent her towering accomplice flying. The sight leaves the woman frozen in shock. An elementary schooler had just sent a full-grown man flying. On the ground, Shang coughs violently, blood spilling from his mouth. Lin Zichen wastes no time. With Shang down, he turns on the red-haired woman. Before she can even react, he drives a punch deep into her midsection. The force folds her over, and his follow-up uppercut crashes against her chin, knocking her unconscious on the spot. Standing over their fallen bodies, his expression hardens. He grabs a brick from the ground, his intentions grim. There are no cameras here, no witnesses. If these two live, his powers could be exposed. His cover would be ruined, his plan to grow stronger in secret destroyed. The solution is simple. He has to finish them off. But before he can swing, the earth rumbles violently beneath his feet. A massive tremor shakes the alley. Then the wall of a nearby building bursts apart as a colossal, clawed hand smashes through the concrete. Dust and rubble scatter as a monstrous aberrant rat emerges, towering over everything. The beast pays no attention to the children. Instead, it looms over the unconscious red-haired woman. Without hesitation, its claws sweep through the air, decapitating her in a single strike. Blood sprays as her severed head dangles from the rat's grip. Shun Qinghan screams, her voice breaking in terror. Recognizing the deadly threat, Lin Zichen quickly scoops her into his arms. He tells her what they're facing, a giant aberrant rat, and that they must run. Without another thought, he bolts from the alley, carrying her as they flee. Behind them, the ground shakes again as something streaks through the night sky. A blur of red and gold cuts downward. A female cyborg with blonde hair, rabbit ear attachments gleaming on her helmet. She dives with incredible speed, a streak of motion that even Shun Qinghan notices as she glances over Lin Zichen's shoulder. So fast, she whispers in awe. The cyborg lands gracefully behind the monster, her gauntlet glowing as she activates her weapon. Anesthetic smoke, she announces coldly. Projectiles fire in rapid succession, erupting into massive explosions that tear through the alley. Lin Zichen shields Shun Qinghan from the blasts as flames and smoke engulf the rat. The creature roars in agony, staggering under the anesthetic's effect. Seizing the opening, the cyborg dashes forward in a blur. Her strikes rain down relentlessly, carving into the weakened beast until, with one final blow, it collapses lifelessly onto the ground. Later that night, Lin Zichen watches the news report about the incident from the safety of his home. His sharp eyes replay every detail of the fight. He comes to a conclusion. The cyborg's power isn't actually that high. She had to rely on weakening the rat first, and even then, it took her 7 full minutes to kill it. His thoughts linger on the danger of such creatures. Giant aberrant rats, capable of growing over 10 meters long, are said to reach ordinary 5th tier. And tonight, he had come face to face with one. Though fortunate to have escaped unharmed, the encounter serves as a harsh reminder of just how dangerous the world truly is. Lin Zichen makes a quiet resolution to push his training even harder so he can protect himself and those closest to him. Not long after, he is seen in his training space, a heavy barbell balanced across his shoulders as he grinds through weighted squats. Each rep is rewarded by his system with valuable points, a steady climb toward greater strength. Despite the looming threat of aberrant rats, life moves forward. Soon, he and Shun Qinghan celebrate their 9th birthday together, surrounded by both families and a towering cake. After making their wishes, they exchange gifts. Drawing on his celestial root of wisdom, Lin Zichen had taught himself wood carving in a single night. He presents her with a beautifully crafted wooden hairpin. Shun Qinghan beams, slipping it into her hair immediately. She declares how much she loves it, her joy filling the room. Time races on. Before long, Lin Zichen and Shun Qinghan graduate from elementary school and prepare to enter middle school. As they leave, his system chimes, announcing the completion of the dominate 9 years of compulsory education achievement. Alongside it, he unlocks the titles Kindergarten Kid King and Elementary School Top Dog. His excitement soars. The next milestone is clear. He must earn the Middle School Overlord title, which promises to grant the powerful attribute, survival of the fittest. During the break, he subjects himself to brutal, high-intensity training. One exercise has him performing 1,000 push-ups beneath the crushing weight of a massive boulder. The system showers him with stat boosts for every effort. The payoff comes just before the new school term. After completing a grueling 10-kilometer run, his system announces a breakthrough. He has advanced to ordinary 3rd tier. His physical stats skyrocket. With one hand, he can now lift 700 kilos. His vertical leap reaches 4 meters. His sprint speed breaks all records, 100 meters in just 6 seconds. Yet even with this progress, one question lingers in his mind. How far has the Kyoto prodigy advanced? That night, he gets his answer. A new broadcast showcases the 14-year-old prodigy's latest feat, now fused with giant ant genes. He can lift a 2,000-kilo alloy block effortlessly. Lin Zichin studies the footage carefully, running the numbers. Giant ant genes are known to amplify strength by 4 to 8 times. Stripping away the enhancement, the prodigy's natural lift would only be around 500 kilos. Lin Zichin exhales, relieved. In raw strength, he still surpasses his rival. A smile forms as he imagines the future. If this is what he can achieve without fusion, then with the right genes, his potential will be limitless. The next morning marks the beginning of middle school. Thanks to being the city's top student, invitations had poured in from the best institutions. In the end, he chooses Shanghai Middle School, but only under one condition. Shin Qinghan must be placed in the same class. During registration, Lin Zichin and Shun Qinghan are welcomed warmly by the principal and their new homeroom teacher. Both praise Lin Zichin's achievements and express how much they're counting on him in the years ahead. After a few polite words, he makes an excuse and leaves with Shun Qinghan. The real reason he had chosen Shanghai Middle School wasn't prestige. It was the school's state-of-the-art athletic facilities. Before classes even began, the two had planned to test out the badminton court. On the court, Shun Qinghan bounces with excitement, turning to him with a grin. "Xiao Chun, let's start," she says brightly. With a flourish, she serves the shuttlecock, shouting the name of her move, the fairy's curveball. Lin Zichin effortlessly intercepts it midair, but before they can continue, a group of upperclassmen stride onto the court. Their leader, wearing his cap backward, casually snatches the shuttlecock out of the air and declares the court is reserved for them. His friends jeer, mockingly suggesting that Shun Qinghan can stay and spar with them instead. Shun Qinghan refuses to back down. She squares her shoulders and tells them firmly that rules are rules. They were there first. Lin Zichin's eyes narrow as the upperclassmen step too close to her. His expression hardens as he moves forward. His voice is cold as he warns them to back away and reminds them of the simple rule. First come, first served. The leader scoffs, oozing arrogance. He declares he doesn't care about the rules. He's taking the court. With a smirk, he tosses the shuttlecock into the air to serve. But before his racket can swing, Lin Zichin makes his move. His voice cuts through the air. From now on, the only rules that matter are mine. He explodes upward, smashing the shuttlecock with overwhelming force. It rockets across the court in a blur of white, moving so fast that the leader barely has time to react. The impact shatters his racket cleanly in half, sending his cap spinning off his head. The upperclassmen freeze, their faces pale and dripping with sweat. Trembling, they whisper to each other, wondering if Lin Zichin is even human. Could he already be a gene fuser? One stammers in terror that if the shuttlecock had been just a little off, their leader's head would have been obliterated. Their bravado collapses instantly. They bow deeply, their voices shaking as they apologize. They insist they understand the rules now and will leave immediately. Without looking back, they bolt from the court, whether because word spread or because the display had burned itself into their memories. No one dared to bully Lin Zichin or Shun Qinghan again. Outside of the larger campus and the impressive facilities, their new school life felt much the same. Academically, Lin Zichin was far beyond his peers, having completed the middle school curriculum long ago. During class, he quietly passed the time by reading books that actually interested him. At night, after finishing his grueling workouts, he turned to his celestial root of wisdom to pick up new skills online. His progress was astonishing. He dabbled in cooking, photography, driving, swimming, and a variety of sports, mastering each with ease. To unlock the middle school overlord title, Lin Zichin knew it wouldn't be enough to simply rank first in every subject. He threw himself into national competitions, stacking trophy upon trophy until he stood before a mountain of accolades. Still, he held back, deliberately avoiding first place every single time. Drawing too much attention was dangerous. By the end of the semester, the title still hadn't unlocked. What he had gained, however, were scores of admirers. His desk became buried under piles of love letters from girls across the school. He ignored them all. Aside from tutoring Shun Qinghan, his focus remained fixed on the upcoming school sports festival. If anything could push him over the edge, it would be absolute dominance there. For the festival, he entered only 3 events: shot put, high jump, and sprinting, showcases of raw strength, explosive power, and unmatched speed. The results shocked the crowd. His shot put throw soared an incredible 201.1 meters. Even though he held back to avoid looking inhuman, he still crushed the competition, taking first place in every event with ease. As he sat beside Shun Qinghan afterward, gold medal hanging around his neck, a sudden surge of power coursed through his body. A system notification appeared before his eyes. Achievement unlocked. Middle school overlord. Because his accomplishments had so thoroughly eclipsed every other student, he had completed all 3 school-age titles. The dominant 9 years of compulsory education achievement was now finished, and with it came a brand new biological attribute: survival of the fittest. Power pulsed within him as realization dawned. The title had finally unlocked. Later that day, as he and Shun Qinghan left school together, Lin Zichen silently turned the new attribute over in his mind. Survival of the fittest, an ability that allowed a predator to devour the life essence of other creatures in order to evolve. But what exactly was life essence? Lost in thought, he barely noticed Shun Qinghan calling after him to wait. Her voice pulled him back to the present, and an idea sparked. He turned to her and asked if he could borrow the Beast Fang necklace Bai Shui had once given them. She agreed without hesitation, handing it to him. The moment his fingers touched the Fang, his system lit up. You have devoured a trace of the abyssal giant butterfly's life essence. Guidebook unlocked. Progress, 1%. A towering spectral image materialized before his eyes. A massive dark butterfly, its wings patterned with eerie, watching eyes. His breath caught. That Fang, it wasn't from just any creature. It was a tooth of the abyssal giant butterfly. That night, he dove into research, searching everywhere online for information. Yet to his surprise, nothing appeared. No records, no mentions, nothing. If he wanted answers, he would have to uncover them himself. Remembering that Bai Shui had given them a pair of fangs, he rummaged through his belongings until at last he found the second tooth. Holding the second Fang, Lin Zichen once again absorbed its power. A system notification flashes before him. Another trace of life essence devoured. But to his disappointment, the abyssal giant butterfly guidebook only inches forward to 2%. He frowns at the Fang, realizing it barely contains any essence left. Unlocking the butterfly's true power would require something far greater. The next afternoon, after school, he decides to add biking into his routine. It strengthens his body, but more importantly, it provides a quick escape route should aberrant beasts ever appear. Each day, he pedals Shun Qinghan home, the two of them weaving through the city streets. On one such ride, a man in a tracksuit suddenly calls out his name. Lin Zichen breaks and looks over. The man strides toward him energetically, introducing himself as Coach Gua from the school's martial arts team. With a broad smile, he praises Lin Zichen's performance at the sports festival, calling it the best in school history. Excitement shines in his eyes as he extends a formal invitation for Lin Zichen to join the team, insisting his athletic gifts even surpass his academic brilliance. Speaking in a rush of enthusiasm, Coach Gua barely gives him a chance to respond, much less decline. Before waving goodbye, he adds that the martial arts team meets in room C of the gym and encourages Lin Zichen to drop by any time. "I'll be waiting," he calls as the two ride away. That evening, as the sun dips below the horizon, Lin Zichen sits in his room ready to test his new attribute, survival of the fittest. He claps his hands, crushing a cockroach and a mosquito he had spotted earlier. But when he opens his palms, there's nothing. No surge of power, no system notification. Frowning, he concludes that ordinary pests are too weak, carrying no life essence worth absorbing. Only exotic or powerful beasts hold the energy needed to fuel his evolution. To test this theory, he decides to try something bolder. The next day, with Shun Qinghan perched on the back of his bike, he pedals into the city toward a massive multi-story supermarket. Inside, the aisles stretch endlessly, lined with neatly packaged beast meat. Lin Zichen feels a stab of frustration. Packaged meat won't work. He needs direct contact. Just then, a booming voice catches his attention. A butcher is advertising freshly cut beast meat. Following the sound, he spots the counter beneath a bold sign. Fresh beast meat. Not prepackaged, safe to eat. Shen Xinghan tilts her head in confusion as Lin Zichen tells her to wait. He doesn't explain further, his eyes fixed on the butcher's table. His heart quickens. This is his chance. He strides to the counter, reaches out, and presses his hand firmly against a slab of freshly cut beast meat. The instant Lin Zichen's hand makes contact, a surge of purple energy rushes into him. His body tingles with power. Just as he suspected, the beast meat holds a potent flow of life essence. He clenches his fist, unable to hide his grin. Shen Xinghan stares at him, bewildered. Why would touching raw meat make him this excited? Curious and concerned, she steps closer and asks how it feels. Lin Zichen, forcing himself to stay calm, shrugs casually. He tells her it just feels fresher than normal, then asks if she wants to touch it too. She flails her hands in panic, shaking her head. Absolutely not. She insists he's already touched enough meat for both of them. Having confirmed his theory, Lin Zichen decides to buy some to test further at home. Shen Xinghan's eyes go wide when she realizes what he's doing. Beast meat is outrageously expensive. Even the cheapest variety, Ghost Shadow Squid, costs nearly 1,000 yen per gene. Lin Zichen grabs a package anyway. Shen Xinghan nearly panics, urging him to put it back and at least ask his mother first. But he only smiles, patting her head reassuringly. He lies smoothly, saying his mom had already told him to buy plenty for both of their families. A quick flashback plays in his mind. Zhang Wanxin laughing and happily agreeing to cook a big feast. Of course, that was only half true. He does plan to share, but his real motive is more important. He needs to know whether consuming beast meat will let him absorb life essence directly. He suspects that relying only on touch might ruin the quality of the food. At the register, he pays nearly 30,000 yen for just 3 small packages of Ghost Shadow Squid. The cashier thanks him, and he carries the heavy price tag with a stoic face. As they leave, Lin Zichen can't help but think about how expensive the meat was. When would they ever be able to afford it again? By the time they finish shopping, the clock reads past 9 p.m. With the city feeling increasingly unstable, they choose to head straight home. On the bike ride back, Lin Zichen's mind is consumed with only one thought, his experiment. Unable to resist, he discreetly rests his hand on one of the squid packages in the basket. A familiar surge of purple energy courses through him. His system confirms it. Trace of ghost shadow, squid, life essence devoured. The moment Lin Zichen absorbs the ghost shadow squid's essence, a new guidebook unlocks in his system. Yet the progress bar barely moves, only 0.1%. Chapter 6. In his mind's eye, a spectral image of the monstrous squid materializes, its body covered in writhing tendrils and glaring multicolored eyes. As he pedals through the quiet streets, he runs the numbers. Absorbing such a tiny amount of meat barely pushed the progress forward. By his estimate, he would need to devour at least 100 gene of Ghost Shadow Squid to reach 100% mastery. At nearly 1,000 yen per gene, that meant a staggering 100,000 yen. But the squid's unique ability to dissolve into water and vanish completely was a power worth any price. His path was clear. He needed to find a way to make serious money on his own. He couldn't ask his family for that much. He then remembers his second reason for buying the meat, to see if absorbing life essence would spoil it. His eyes drift to the package. Hours had passed, yet the squid looks just as fresh as when he'd bought it. Relief floods him, and a grin spreads across his face. Not only could he harvest its power, but the meat remained perfectly edible. As he continues absorbing while riding, his progress bar creeps upward to 3%. Just then, Shen Xinghan's panicked voice cuts through his concentration. He slams the brakes hard, tires screeching as the bike grinds to a halt, barely a hair's breadth from colliding with a couple walking in the lane. He bows his head in apology, but inside, he curses himself for being careless. Why was the bike lane so crowded anyway? Shen Xinghan points ahead. Following her gaze, Lin Zichen sees the source of the commotion. A large red-haired man stands in the middle of the street, gripping a woman tightly with a knife pressed to her throat. Lin Zichen's heart sinks as Shen Xinghan gasps in horror, recognizing the hostage. It's their teacher, Xia. The man screams threats at the surrounding crowd. Police officers form a tense perimeter, megaphones raised as they try to negotiate. The police captain restrains one of his men, Officer Abing, warning him not to fire recklessly. The suspect is using the teacher as a shield, leaving no clear shot. Abing suggests sleeping gas, but the captain shakes his head. Too risky. The gas wouldn't take effect fast enough, and the suspect might panic and strike before then. As the police hesitate, Lin Zichen quietly bends down, fingers closing around a pebble on the pavement. With a flick of his fingers, the stone whistles through the air at terrifying speed. It strikes Officer Abing's gun, jolting it into a sudden misfire. The stray bullet slams into the hostage-taker's hand. He howls in pain, dropping both the knife and his grip on Teacher Xia. "Move in," the captain roars. The officers surge forward, tackling the suspect to the ground. Shackles snap into place while a female officer rushes to Teacher Xia's side, gently steadying her trembling form. The teacher is shaken, but alive. With the situation under control, Lin Zichen quietly climbs back onto his bike. Shen Qinghan stares at him with wide, questioning eyes and whispers if he was the one who threw the rock. He quickly hushes her, urging her to save it for later as he pedals away. But before they can escape, a firm voice cuts through the noise. "Stop right there." The police captain calls out, asking if Lin Zichen had been the one to throw the stone. Panic flashes across his face, and with a nervous smile, he quickly denies it. The captain watches as the two pedal off, frowning. It was strange. Why would someone refuse to admit to a heroic act? Shaking his head, he mutters aloud that there's even a reward for bravery. That word slams into Lin Zichen like lightning. A reward? He skids to a sudden halt, whirls around, and rushes back to the captain. Sheepishly, he retracts his denial and admits it was him. With a straight face, he explains that the reward money is very important to him. The captain tells him to come to the station later to file a report. He promises to personally make sure Lin Zichen receives the reward he deserves. Relieved, Lin Zichen and Shen Qinghan notify their families and prepare to head to the police station. He assumes everything will be simple from here. But then, everything goes horribly wrong. As the police lead the suspect away in cuffs, his body suddenly convulses. His face twists grotesquely, bone and flesh warping as horrified officers realize the truth. He's a heretic, right before their eyes. His form mutates into a monstrous, giant, aberrant rat. With a thunderous roar, he shatters the handcuffs and lashes out, his claws tearing through the street as panicked officers scramble. "Open fire!" The captain roars into his radio, ordering his men to protect the civilians at all costs. Gunfire erupts in a deafening hail, but the bullets bounce uselessly off the beast's thick hide. A frantic report comes crackling in. The heretic has fused with Rat King genes. Backup is requested immediately. Seeing the chaos, Lin Zichen grabs Shen Qinghan's hand, apologizing as he pulls her along to run. Relief flickers when he notices the mutant isn't chasing them, but he knows they need to put distance between themselves and the battlefield as fast as possible. Then the sky splits open. A streak of light, wrapped in a purple aura, dives down from above. A female cyborg descends in sleek, futuristic armor, slamming a devastating blow into the giant rat. The impact knocks the beast staggering backward, dust and rubble scattering with the force. Hovering effortlessly in the air, the cyborg raises her head. Short, dark purple hair frames her helmet as her chest plate hums, energy surging. A brilliant laser cannon begins to charge, purple light burning brighter by the second. Her voice is sharp and commanding as she gives the order, "Fire." The cannon unleashes a massive beam of pure energy, engulfing the mutant rat entirely. The creature screams, thrashing in agony as the light tears through it. Then, with a final roar, it disintegrates completely, leaving behind nothing but scorched ash. Lin Zichen stands frozen, eyes wide. He has just witnessed power on a scale he could barely imagine. With the giant rat disintegrated, the danger finally passes. Teacher Xia and Shen Qinghan exhale long, shaky breaths of relief. Lin Zichen, however, has a very different concern. His eyes dart to his bike, and he sighs in relief when he sees it untouched. If the blast had destroyed it, that would have been a devastating financial loss. But just as the tension begins to ease, another realization hits him. His gaze shifts to the basket. The packages of ghost shadow squid meat now reek, their surface spoiled and slimy. His heart sinks. His theory had been correct all along. Absorbing life essence does cause beast meat to spoil. It just doesn't happen immediately. He lifts a limp tentacle, grimacing as the foul odor wafts upward. He needs an explanation. Without missing a beat, he puts on a dramatic performance, tossing the spoiled meat onto the ground and loudly blaming the heretic and the cyborg's blast for ruining it. It's all their fault. The meat's been roasted, he laments. Teacher Xia gently comforts him, reminding him that what truly matters is that everyone made it out alive. At the police captain's request, they prepare to return home, but instead are escorted to the station alongside the security team. What they didn't expect was to ride in the same van as the heretic's remains. On the gurney lies what little is left, a mound of scorched flesh, blackened and stinking. The stench fills the vehicle, forcing everyone to cover their noses. Lin Zichen sits silently, his mind turning over a new thought. He recalls by Shue's beast fangs, how they still carried traces of life essence long after the creature had died. A bold possibility flashes in his mind. If the fangs held power, then could this corpse, even in its ruined state, still contain life essence? And if so, could he devour it? Could he claim the Rat King gene for himself? Xiao Chun stared at the charred remains of the heretic, no longer thinking about the fight itself, but about what lay within the body. He wondered how much of the Rat King's gene he could draw from a corpse still warm. The thought lingered only briefly before he acted. With a subtle motion of his fingers, he probed the body. A faint message echoed in his mind. He had consumed a fragment of the giant mutant rat's essence. The realization struck him quickly. The fresher the body, the richer the essence. Once the warmth faded, almost nothing could be taken. This small discovery deepened his understanding, a truth that could serve him well later. Nearby, Ah Bing caught his movement and told him to sit still. Xiao Chun casually explained that he had only been sitting too long and needed to stretch. It was an easy excuse for Ah Bing, but not for the security captain. That man's sharp eyes caught details others missed. Xiao Chun kept his actions cautious, aware that one wrong move could invite suspicion. Not long after, Xiao Chun was summoned to the public security office. The security captain had already filed the paperwork for his bravery award, but that wasn't the reason he called him in. He questioned how a schoolboy, in the dark, could throw a stone so accurately from such a distance and strike the heretic's knife hand. It sounded far too unlikely. Xiao Chun explained that he often trained his right hand, using it as a cover story. Outwardly calm, he knew the excuse was flimsy. The captain's silence made it clear he wasn't convinced, though he chose to leave the matter for now. Just then, Henin entered with Xiao Chen's parents. Their faces carried heavy worry, and his mother rushed straight to him. To Xiao Chen's surprise, they hadn't gone home, but had come here instead. His mother didn't explain. She only pulled him close, running her hands over him to check if he was truly unharmed. She said nothing about his bravery, only her concern for his safety. Xiao Chun reassured her, even telling her about the bravery award, but her unease didn't fade. Holding his hand tightly, she asked him a promise that if danger ever came again, he would hide first and protect himself before anything else. Xiao Chun felt the weight of her fear. He gave his word, agreeing to put his safety above all, though deep inside, he knew it wouldn't always be possible. As Xiao Chun prepared to leave, a nearby conversation caught his ear. Several young women from the public security office were discussing the rat god cult. Their words carried anger as they spoke of how bold the cult had become, even extending its reach into universities. Their main targets were students who couldn't legally obtain gene fusion. The heretic who died tonight, they revealed, had once been a liberal arts student at Guangyan University, twisted by the cult's brainwashing. They agreed the cult had to be eradicated, yet killing scattered followers wasn't enough. The true source of the chaos lay with the Rat King. Unless that being was destroyed, the threat would never truly end. The name struck Xiao Chun, embedding itself in his mind. On the way home, he pulled up what information he could find. Reports showed that the rat god cult operated most heavily in Shanghai. Its members were mostly outcasts, people pushed aside by society. Activity had surged in recent months, and many suspected the Rat King was behind orders to gather immense amounts of evolutionary resources. Xiao Chan thought it over carefully. If the Rat King was seeking to evolve further, then the accumulation of such materials made sense. But if it already possessed awareness and ambition, then the danger was far greater. An intelligent Rat King could unleash disaster beyond anything the cult alone could cause. He turned to the window of the transport and caught sight of a massive rat cornering a cat on the street. For a brief moment, he wondered if this had some connection to the Rat King. But then he reminded himself, large rats were a common sight in the South. Perhaps it meant nothing. Even so, the image left him unsettled. Across from him, Henin sat unusually quiet. Xiao Chen noticed. Since they were young, her moods had always been transparent. If she was startled or nervous, it showed instantly. But now nothing. The change was striking, and Xiao Chen wondered if it hinted at some hidden ability. He kept the thought to himself, though it stayed with him. When he arrived home, his mother immediately spotted the missing meat. Shock filled her face. Xiao Chen quickly explained that, amidst the chaos, he had dropped it and couldn't worry about food during such danger. She accepted his words, relieved only that he had returned safe. Xiao Chen sighed inwardly at how easily she believed him. His father, however, reacted differently. Without hesitation, he prepared to go search for the lost meat. Xiao Chen calmly persuaded him that by now it was surely spoiled and useless. After a moment of silence, his father relented and stayed home. Elsewhere, the security captain still couldn't dismiss the unease Xiao Chen left him with. The thought of a middle schooler hurling a stone with such deadly precision gnawed at him. He replayed it in his mind, suspicion refusing to fade. Then movement nearby caught his eye. A rat appeared, but not an ordinary one. Its body was larger, heavier, and far more menacing than it should have been. The sight sent a ripple of unease through him. His instincts sharpened instantly. Without hesitation, he reached for his weapon, raised his gun, and pulled the trigger, the bullet flying straight toward the creature. The next morning in class, Lin Zichen sat at his desk, letting out a quiet sigh. His thoughts circled back to the battle from a night before. Compared to the heretic and that female cyborg, his strength was still far too low. If he wanted to survive and grow, he needed resources, and quickly. Beast meat, like the ghost shadow squid, was essential to push his guidebook's progress bar forward. Ideas flickered through his mind. He thought about becoming an online influencer or selling study materials, but quickly dismissed them. Those paths would draw too much attention, and his priority was to keep a low profile. Then, a more fitting idea struck him. In this world, martial arts and gene fusion mattered far more than academics. If he wanted both strength and money, that was the path to take. Later that day, he made his way to Building C, where the martial arts team trained. Inside, Coach Gu was sipping from a thermos. Lin Zichen greeted him politely. The coach looked surprised and asked whether he had come to join or simply watch. Instead of answering directly, Lin leaned closer and quietly asked if being on the team meant competing in city tournaments, and whether the prizes were significant. Coach Gu's smile widened. Yes, joining would give him that chance. The prize money could reach tens of thousands. That was all Lin needed to hear. With a firm handshake, he declared that he was joining the martial arts team immediately. Coach Gu, pleased, called the team together to announce their newest member. He introduced Lin Zichen, reminding them he had been the champion of the school's sports meet. One by one, the other members greeted him. Zhang Kai, Huang Tianxing called Xing, Li Shetong, and Han Isa. Finally, Lin Zichen introduced himself in return. Since Lin had never trained formally, Coach Gu began with the basics, demonstrating simple fist and leg techniques. He explained that while they looked easy, mastering them took time and discipline. Even their fastest learner, Li Shetong, had needed a week to get them right. Turning back to Lin, the coach encouraged him to give it a try. Lin Zichen took his stance. His celestial root of wisdom awakened, granting him instant clarity. Just by watching, he had already absorbed every detail of the movements. As he began practicing the fist techniques, a system notification chimed. Points in vitality, strength, dexterity, and proficiency had been gained. His punches were sharp, precise, and perfectly timed. Without pause, he shifted into the leg techniques, his kicks powerful yet fluid. Another notification appeared. this time rewarding his leg strength, dexterity, and skill. The coach and every team member stood frozen, their eyes fixed on him. What they had expected to be clumsy, beginner attempts had instead turned into flawless, lightning-fast execution. Lin Zichen moved as though he had trained for years. The room was silent, every face stunned at what they had just witnessed. Coach Gu's jaw nearly hit the floor. His grip on the thermos faltered as he stared at Lin Zichen's flawless execution. The boy had learned the forms instantly, moves that normally took days of practice to even resemble. One thought burned in his mind. This wasn't ordinary talent. Lin Zichen had to be a once-in-a-million martial arts prodigy. That evening in Shanghai, his mother, Zhang Wanqin, called him to dinner. Excited, Lin grabbed a spoon and hurried out, asking what she had made. She proudly set down a steaming platter of ghost shadow squid, the very meat he had been hoping for. The rich aroma filled the air. Lin inhaled deeply, telling her how amazing it smelled. She urged him to dig in before it cooled. He took his first bite and declared her cooking the best in the world. Beaming, his mother told him to eat plenty. She had bought 3 full jin just for him. As he ate, a system notification appeared before his eyes. He had absorbed a trace of the ghost shadow squid's life essence. His guidebook progress ticked upward to 3.01%. Lin froze for a moment, frustration settling in. So eating the meat worked just as well. If he had known, he wouldn't have ruined the first batch by experimenting with it. While the meal continued, the television in the background carried a news report. A 14-year-old girl, hailed as the youngest cyborg in history, had just been revealed. After fusing with an energy core, she had gained abilities that pushed human limits, lifting a 5,000-kilogram SUV with a single hand, sprinting 100 meters in 3 seconds, and leaping 8 meters straight into the air. Watching the broadcast, Lin considered the debate raging in his world, between the Kyoto prodigy's gene fusion and this girl's cybernetic enhancements. Which path truly led to greater strength? His thoughts were cut short when another breaking story interrupted. The anchor announced that Captain Hun Shan, the very officer they had met before, had been found dead in his office. Surveillance footage revealed the horrifying truth. A massive mutant rat had infiltrated the station, tearing into him before devouring his body. The screen showed medics wheeling his remains away on a stretcher. Lin's stomach tightened. He thought back to the giant rat he had glimpsed the night before. Was that the same creature? The idea of such beasts roaming freely through the city chilled him. The captain's death wasn't just tragic, it was a dire warning of what lay ahead. Fixing his gaze, Lin resolved to push himself harder than ever. He threw himself into a brutal training regimen. His speed soared. Soon he was sprinting 100 meters in just 4.61 seconds. His strength surged as well, his vertical jump reaching 5.3 meters, and his grip power climbing until he could lift 1,200 kilograms with a single hand. Between relentless solo training and rigorous practice with the school martial arts team, Lin focused all his energy on sharpening his strength. The city tournament loomed closer, and he knew he had no time to waste. The next morning at school, Lin Zichen headed toward the gym for practice, with a curious Shun Qinghan trailing after him. Along the way, a girl with pink hair stepped forward with a bright smile and offered him a chilled bottle of fresh milk. Lin thanked her politely, but declined, continuing on with Shun Qinghan beside him. The girl's smile faded, disappointment written across her face. From a short distance away, Zhang Kai had been watching. His fists tightened, anger boiling inside him. The boy who had defeated him at the sports meet had just brushed off a gesture from the very girl Zhang Kai admired. Rage took over, and he stormed forward, blocking their path. He confronted Lin Zichen sharply, accusing him of rudeness and of hurting the girl's feelings. Lin responded calmly, explaining that he was allergic to milk. Zhang Kai scoffed, refusing to believe a word, and called him a liar. His anger spiking, he jabbed a finger at Lin and issued a challenge, a sparring match. If Zhang Kai lost, he would never bother him again. But if Lin lost, he would have to drink the entire bottle of milk. Just as the terms were spoken, a system notification appeared before Lin's eyes. A new achievement mission had been unlocked. Defeat 1,000 different opponents in formal competition to awaken the survival of the fittest biological trait. Lin's lips curved into a sly grin. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for. His body seemed to radiate a faint, menacing purple aura. He accepted the challenge without hesitation, eyes gleaming with anticipation. Word of the duel spread like wildfire. By the time the two arrived at the gym, it was already packed, students forming a wide circle around the sparring area. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Most of the crowd was firmly on Lin's side, especially the girls who admired him. They cheered loudly, urging him to crush his opponent. Among them, the pink-haired girl held up her phone, ready to record the fight. Zhang Kai looked around, scowling at the crowd's obvious favoritism. Their confidence that he would lose stung, but deep down, he admitted that Lin's growth over the past month had been extraordinary. Even so, he saw this duel as his last chance to prove himself, to silence the whispers, and to reclaim his pride. Meanwhile, Lin stood relaxed, almost indifferent. With a straight face, he mentioned that he needed to get home for dinner and asked if they could finish quickly. Zhang Kai took it as mockery. He sneered, promising to grant Lin his quick fight. Coach Gua stepped between them, acting as referee. He raised his hand, reminding both of the rules before signaling the start. But just as the match was about to begin, Zhang Kai suddenly shouted for them to stop. With a smug grin, Zhang Kai raised his voice for all to hear. He pointed out that he had trained for nearly 2 years, while Lin Zichen had barely begun a month ago. To make things fair, he announced he would allow Lin the first 3 moves. Lin Zichen gave a simple nod of agreement. The instant the words left his mouth, he exploded into motion. His figure blurred, crossing the distance before Zhang Kai could even lift his guard. In that same heartbeat, Lin unleashed a single devastating punch. The strike landed cleanly. Blood burst from Zhang Kai's nose as his body went limp. He collapsed unconscious onto the floor, felled in one blow. The gym fell silent. Not a sound, not even a breath. Coach Gua stood frozen, eyes wide, the thermos in his hand forgotten. Then he shouted in disbelief. The fight was over in just 1 punch. The martial arts team stared in shock, unable to process what had happened. The gathered crowd murmured in disbelief, calling the outcome impossible, absurd. A duel that was supposed to be a contest ended in a single second. The silence shattered when cheers erupted. Shun Qinhan threw her fist into the air, ecstatic, her voice rising above the noise. The girls, including the pink-haired one, joined in, screaming about how incredible Lin was. Standing over his defeated opponent, Lin Zichen's vision flickered with a system notification. By defeating a rival and winning the admiration of the opposite sex, he had earned priority mating rights. At the same time, his new mission progress ticked upward, 1 out of 1,000. He let out a quiet thought to himself. This was only the beginning. To unlock the survival of the fittest attribute, he still had a long journey ahead. If he wanted to accelerate, he would need more battles. His gaze swept across the remaining martial arts team members. With a friendly but chilling smile, he suggested they spar with him too. Their faces went pale instantly. One mumbled about a cram school session. Another claimed his mother was waiting with dinner, while others clutched their stomachs, pretending to be ill. The excuses piled up in a panic. Before anyone could slip away, Zhang Kai groaned and forced himself onto his knees. Fury burned in his eyes as he shouted, accusing Lin of a sneak attack. He refused to accept defeat, swearing there would be a rematch where he would crush him. Coach would cut him off firmly. He told Zhang Kai to accept the loss like a man. Then, still doubtful, the coach wondered aloud if Lin's devastating punch had just been luck. To test the theory, he turned toward another student, Xiaozi. Hearing his name, the spiky-haired boy froze in dread. His legs trembled as he reluctantly stepped forward. Though he raised his fists into a stance, his face twisted in terror. Voice shaking, he begged Lin not to hit his face. 10 minutes later, the scene inside the gym was undeniable. Several members of the martial arts team lay sprawled unconscious on the floor. Lin Zichen stood calmly above them, noting to himself that he had held back, only trading a few light blows. Still, when he opened his system, his expression fell. Aside from the first victory against Zhang Kai, none of these matches counted. His rival count stubbornly remained at 1/1000. The truth hit him. Casual sparring wasn't enough. Only official matches would register toward his achievement. As he mulled it over, a heavy hand clapped his shoulder. Coach Gua, beaming with wild excitement, praised him loudly. To the coach, Lin wasn't just talented. He was a once-in-a-generation genius. In just over a month, He had surpassed everyone, becoming the ace of the team. With Lin leading, Coach Guo declared their school would crush all competition and seize first place at the regional martial arts tournament. Lin's eyes sharpened. The coach was right. The tournament was the perfect chance. Scores of official opponents lined up, ready to be defeated. Every victory would bring him closer to unlocking the natural selection attribute. His thoughts were broken by a voice calling his name. Zhang Kai, now conscious, staggered to his feet. Still shaken, he pointed at Lin and, in a bizarre display, loudly proclaimed his surrender with a strange, overly detailed declaration of submission. His graphic words stunned everyone into silence. Shen Qinghan, Coach Guo, and even Lin himself were left disturbed and speechless. Before Zhang Kai could finish his rambling speech, the coach and the remaining students made a hasty retreat. Left behind, he grumbled to himself, frustrated that no one had listened until the end. Meanwhile, the world outside kept moving. In this era, high schoolers were forced to make a choice: martial arts or academics. With danger lurking everywhere, martial arts was considered the superior path. Not wanting to fall behind, Shen Qinghan made her decision. She joined the martial arts track and began training side by side with Lin. Their routine was grueling, running 30,000 meters to build endurance, followed by an hour of hand-to-hand combat. Then came endless push-ups and sit-ups to harden their bodies. At the end of each session, Lin gave her a massage to ease the strain from her muscles. Lin didn't let up on his own regimen either. Every day, he pushed himself harder, driven by one goal: to dominate the tournament and reach his system's next threshold. 1 month passed in relentless training. At last, the day arrived. The regional martial arts tournament was here, and Lin Zichen stood ready, eyes filled with determination. His chance to prove himself and accelerate his evolution had finally come. The grand tournament is underway inside the colossal city gymnasium, its central stage surrounded by roaring crowds. In the waiting zone, tension hangs heavy. Coach Guo flips through the roster with worry, grumbling that their school, Shanghai High, drew the worst lot. They're up against the strongest contenders, Shanghai No. 1 High. One of the team members adds fuel to the fire, nervously pointing out that their rivals have a sprinter who can clear 100 meters in under 9 seconds. The team's confidence plummets. At that moment, Lin Zichen raises his hand. His calm voice cuts through the anxiety as he volunteers to step into the ring first. Coach Guo hesitates, but in the end, he nods. If anyone can give them a chance, it's their ace. Lin Zichen strides toward the arena. From the sidelines, Han Han cheers him on, while Coach Guo blasts encouragement through a megaphone. His opponent soon appears, a towering, muscle-bound fighter from No. 1 High. He smirks, giving Lin Zichen a half-hearted nod for making it this far as just a freshman. But his respect quickly turns to ridicule. With a sneer, he mocks Lin's height, scoffing that someone under 1.7 meters doesn't belong on this stage. Flexing his massive arm, he promises to crush Lin and show him what a real difference in size and strength looks like. The referee signals. The fight begins. The giant lunges forward, his fist tearing through the air with terrifying force. But Lin Zichen doesn't flinch. He glides past the attack, and in the same motion, drives his fist square into his opponent's chest. The result is immediate. The huge fighter is launched off his feet, sent crashing across the arena floor, completely unconscious. For a moment, the entire gym falls into stunned silence. The announcer fumbles before finally declaring Lin Zichen the winner. On the sidelines, Han Han leaps up, shouting in joy that her Xiao Chun is incredible. The rest of Shanghai High erupts, surrounding Coach Guo, laughing and cheering that Lin Zichen is a monster, dismissing the fallen fighter as nothing but wasted muscle. Across the ring, however, No. 1 High's coach is livid. He scolds his student for charging recklessly without proper footwork. Back in the arena, Lin Zichen's vision flashes with a system prompt. Another rival defeated, his ranking improved, his elimination count now at 2,100. He tightens his fist, satisfied. This is exactly the kind of battle he's been waiting for. But the war is far from over. No. 1 High's furious coach immediately calls up their next fighter, Chun Fong, barking at him to put down the freshman and end this match swiftly. Chun Fong accepts the call without hesitation. Calm and collected, he steps into the arena and takes his stance. Unlike the reckless brawler before him, his presence is steady, his technique sharp. The announcer signals the start. Chun Fong explodes forward, moving with blinding speed as he launches a storm of strikes. His kicks and punches slice through the air in rapid succession. each one carrying deadly precision. But Lin Zikin doesn't flinch. With one hand, he meets a vicious kick head-on. The impact reverses back into Chun Fong's body, sending him spinning uncontrollably through the air. He slams onto the ground, completely knocked out. Gasps ripple through the arena. Medics rush in, quickly placing Chun Fong onto a stretcher. One of them urgently calls for a head scan. The crowd is in shock. Confusion spreads as voices rise. Some whisper that Shanghai High's freshmen must be ridiculously lucky, while others angrily shout accusations that the tournament is fixed, demanding their money back. But the opposing coach knows the truth. His face sinks into his hands as the realization strikes. This isn't luck. This first year is terrifyingly real. In the waiting zone, he regains composure, shifting tactics immediately. He summons their next fighter, a spiky-haired boy named Jie Fei. His orders are clear. Focus entirely on defense. Under no circumstances can he afford to lose. Jie Fei, however, brims with overconfidence. He waves off the warning, assuring his coach there's nothing to worry about. Victory is certain. As he walks toward the ring, his mind dismisses Lin Zikin's previous wins as mere tricks. To him, strength lies in speed and experience. With his 100-meter dash clocking under 9 seconds and years of training behind him, defeat feels impossible. The audience erupts with chatter. Many praise Jie Fei's lightning speed, and word spreads quickly that his father is a gene fusion user, explaining his gifted abilities. The consensus is clear. Lin Zikin's streak ends here, though some admit the freshman's talent is undeniable. The announcer signals for the match to begin. Jie Fei doesn't wait. Ignoring his coach's desperate warning, he launches straight into offense. His opening move, a blistering kick followed by a flurry of strikes. His fists blaze with energy as he unleashes his special technique. Flowing water shatters rock. From the sidelines, his coach roars in frustration, furious that Jie Fei abandoned defense. But Jie only scoffs. In his mind, a genius like him has no need to defend. Lin Zikin, weaving through the attacks with effortless grace, studies the technique with intrigue. Rather than being pressured, he chooses to memorize it on the spot. Jie Fei's strikes grow wilder, his frustration mounting as none of his blows land. Finally, out of breath, he halts and demands to know how Lin Zikin is slipping past every attack. Lin Zikin remains composed, watching his opponent flail. With a steady voice, he asks if Jie Fei has any other moves, his words carrying the weight of a taunt. That single question pushes Jie Fei over the edge. He erupts in anger, throwing another desperate barrage of punches. To Lin Zikin, the pattern is clear. Every strike predictable, every motion easy to read. In his mind, he makes the decision. Enough. Time to finish this. He sidesteps the last wild punch and counters with a single, crushing kick to Jie Fei's midsection. The blow ends the fight instantly. For a moment, silence grips the arena once again. Then, like a wave, thunderous cheers erupt from the Shanghai High supporters. The gymnasium shakes with celebration. On the sidelines, Han Han and Coach Guo scream with joy, praising their Xiao Chun as a beast, celebrating his third consecutive victory. The rest of the matches that day unfold without suspense. Each opponent proves weaker than the last. Lin Zikin cuts through them effortlessly, and before long, he alone has eliminated all 5 fighters from the rival team. The momentum doesn't stop there. Over the next 2 days, the story repeats itself. Lin Zikin continues his unstoppable streak, single-handedly defeating 2 more schools. His dominance secures Shanghai High the championship title. Together with his teammates, he stands proudly, medals gleaming, trophy in hand. But when he checks his system, reality sinks in. His rival count sits at only 161,000. At this pace, unlocking the natural selection attribute will take years. The thought leaves him dissatisfied. Still, there's some comfort. To his surprise, Coach Guo turns out to be generous. Lin Zikin takes home most of the prize money, a full 20,000 yuan. With his earlier academic competition winnings, his total jumps to 30,000 yuan. That fortune doesn't last long. He spent it all on a single sweep at the supermarket, loading up on one thing: Ghost Shadow Squid meat. For weeks, it becomes his only meal. By the time he's devoured 30 gene, his codex shows 33% progress on the Ghost Shadow Squid. The results speak for themselves. His training and constant beast meat consumption push him to a breakthrough. By his second year of middle school, he advances from Tier 3 to Tier 4. His body transforms, strength, speed, and power climbing to new extremes. With one hand, he can now lift 1,890 kilograms, leap a vertical 5.65 meters, and sprint 100 meters in just 4.49 seconds. Time flies. Before long, both he and Han graduate from the middle school division of Shanghai High. But celebration turns to heartbreak when the high school entrance exam results arrive. In her room, Han sits crying. Her voice trembles as she asks Lin Zikin why. Why, after all her effort, all their shared dreams, they can't attend the same high school anymore. Lin Zikin explains the truth gently. He placed first in both liberal arts and martial arts, while Han's academic results were outstanding, but her martial arts score fell short of the requirement for Shanghai High's elite class. She cries harder, asking him what will happen now. He tells her the principal of Shanghai High is coming to visit his home, most likely to recruit him personally. Then he asks quietly if she'll come along. Her heart sinks. Through tears, she shakes her head, saying it has nothing to do with her. The principal only wants him. Lin Zikin doesn't let her sink further into despair. He takes her hand, pulling her gently to her feet. Looking at her firmly, he tells her not to worry, because he already has a plan. His condition for staying at Shanghai High is simple. Han has to be his desk mate. Just as promised, the principal of Shanghai High arrives at Lin Zikin's home. She sits with his mother and Han, the three of them discussing his future for hours. The principal makes it clear she wants him at her school. As the meeting draws to a close, the principal rises to leave. But before stepping out, she turns back with one final offer. If Lin Zikin agrees to stay, she will grant him any request he has. He doesn't hesitate. Taking the chance, he makes his one condition clear. Han must remain in the same class as him. The principal glances at the nervous girl and repeats her name. Without a moment's doubt, she agrees. With a smile, she instructs them both to report to Shanghai High together for the new school year. Overjoyed, Lin Zikin and Han bow in thanks. Their high school future is secured. Before moving on, Lin Zikin competes in his final junior high martial arts tournament. As expected, his sheer dominance carries the team straight to another championship. This time, he knows exactly what to do with the prize money. His Ghost Shadow Squid Codex is only 20% away from completion, and the winnings are just enough to push it to the limit. Seeking safety, he heads deep into a secluded forest outside of Shanghai. There, without hesitation, he consumes the final essence from the squid meat. A surge of blue energy erupts around him. The system chimes, confirming he is absorbing a vast amount of life force. His body trembles as the codex bar fills and finally locks at 100%. A new notification appears. Ghost Shadow Squid Codex unlocked. Biological attribute gained. Blessing of liquid affinity. The ability grants him heightened connection with water, the power to move freely, and even vanish within aquatic environments. But as the energy fades, he stands silently, holding the limp squid tentacles in hand. A frown crosses his face. For all the effort, the result feels underwhelming. He decides to test it anyway. At a nearby pond, he slips into the water. To his surprise, there are some effects. His skin never wrinkles no matter how long he stays submerged, and swimming feels almost effortless with a reduced water resistance. Still, nothing game-changing. Leaning back in the water, he admits the truth to himself. The Ghost Shadow Squid was only a low-tier beast. Naturally, its ability couldn't be that impressive. If he wants stronger attributes, there are only two paths forward. Save enough money for higher-grade beast meat, or one day, grow powerful enough to hunt dangerous wild mutant beasts on his own. The memory of those terrifying giant mutant rats steals Lin Zikin's resolve. He clenches his fist, more determined than ever to grow stronger. With only a week left before school begins, his mother and Han's family decide on a short trip, partly to help him test his new liquid affinity. Lin suggests they head to the beach. Standing in the surf, Han shivers, complaining that the seawater is freezing. Lin Zikin, however, feels perfectly at home. He encourages her to ease into it before diving forward, slicing through the waves with incredible speed. As he swims, his system rewards him with stat points for swimming and diving, further fueling his progress. From the shore, Han calls out nervously, asking him to teach her how to swim. He suddenly remembers she never learned. Popping his head above the surface, he waves her over and begins guiding her step by step. He expects it to take time. With her average athletic ability, he assumes she'll struggle. But to his surprise, she adapts instantly. Laughing in excitement, she says swimming feels natural, almost effortless. She dives on her own, moving gracefully, as if she'd known how all along. When she resurfaces, Lin Zikin stares in shock. A faint blue aura seems to shimmer around her in the water. Han exclaims that the sensation is amazing. Normally, opening eyes underwater would sting, but to her it feels cool and comfortable, even refreshing. Her words leave Lin Zikin deep in thought. Something about this isn't normal. No matter how talented, no one should master swimming and diving skills this quickly. And it hits him. He recalls her childhood struggle with bedwetting whenever she was nervous. Could that weakness have been a sign all along? An innate water affinity hidden within her body? The idea sends a thrill through him. Perhaps Han Han possesses a rare cultivation body, like the characters from the novels his parents used to read. Determined to test his theory, they continue diving. The results astonish him even more. She manages to hold her breath underwater for over 10 minutes, an impossible feat for a complete beginner. But before he can process it fully, Han Han's expression changes. A strange vibration echoes through the water, a low swirling sound that grows louder. Both glance upward in alarm. They break the surface together. Han Han cries out as glowing blue water swirls around her, the energy pulsing like a living force. That night, the two of them walk quietly along the moonlit beach. Lin Zikin finally asks Han Han what exactly happened underwater. Shivering at the memory, she explains that the whole time she kept hearing strange, unsettling sounds whispering by her ear. He gently presses, asking what kind of sounds. She shakes her head, voice trembling as she says it was a female voice speaking in some unknown language, echoing endlessly until the moment she surfaced. Seeing her so frightened, Lin Zikin brings her back to the hotel room, trying to comfort her. Later, after she falls asleep, he searches online for anything resembling a mysterious female voice beneath the sea. But no matter how deep he digs, nothing comes up. Unable to shake the unease, he channels his restless energy into training. He begins a set of weighted sit-ups, one after another until he's done 1,000. Suddenly, a powerful surge courses through his body. A system notification appears. His hard work has paid off. He's advanced to ordinary Tier 5. Though surprised, he feels exhilarated. At Tier 5, he realizes he now has the power to rival a fully grown giant mutant rat. He clenches his fist, eyes sharp with determination. Ripping one apart with his bare hands no longer feels like a dream. Eager to test his limits, he heads back to the empty beach under the stars. The stat increase is staggering. His 100-meter dash now clocks at just 3.64 seconds, and his vertical jump soars to nearly 7 meters. Testing his strength, he grips a nearby parked car, and with one hand, lifts the 1,600-kilogram vehicle clean off the ground. With his breakthrough complete, life presses forward. The vacation comes to an end, and soon he and Han Han officially begin high school at Shanghai High. On the very first day, they arrive early for classroom duty. Two new female classmates immediately recognize him, whispering excitedly to each other about how handsome he is and how lucky they are to be assigned alongside him. Lin Zikin is surprised that word of him has spread so quickly. But what shocks him even more is what happens next. Simply performing class duty triggers a brand new system quest. The requirement: complete 1,000 cooperative tasks to unlock a new biological attribute, social animal. As he sweeps the floor beside Han Han, he wonders what kind of power such an attribute could grant. After school, with a new year just beginning, he makes a trip to the Mammoth supermarket. Having already maxed out the Ghost Shadow Squid Codex, it's time to choose a new target. Wandering through the chilled beast meat section, he suddenly stops. His eyes fix on a package inside the refrigerated display, the severed head of a savage giant eagle, priced at 1,998 yuan per gene. A grin spreads across his face. Decision made. This will be his next codex. The savage giant eagle ranks above the ghost shadow squid as a higher level aberrant beast. Its eyesight is 30 times sharper than humans, allowing it to lock on a prey with deadly precision, no matter how fast they move. Back in his room, Lin Zichen studies the eagle meat carefully. He decides that unlocking its guidebook is worth the effort. Having such vision would grant him a huge advantage in battle. What makes it even more appealing is the cost. Only 1,998 yen per gene, surprisingly affordable compared to other beasts. He presses his hand against the meat. A surge of blue energy flows around him, and his system confirms the result. He has absorbed a trace of the eagle's life essence, unlocking 1% of its guidebook. Running the numbers, he realizes that a single gene only provides 1%. To fully complete the codex, he would need to spend more than 200,000 yuan. Thinking it through, he knows that the prize money in high school tournaments is much higher than in middle school. Determination takes root. If he wants to unlock the savage giant eagle's codex before his second year, he must win, and win big. As summer ends, his new life at Shanghai High officially begins. On the first day, the teachers line up to introduce themselves. The martial arts and homeroom teacher, the mechanical modification teacher, the gene fusion teacher, and the wilderness survival teacher. Afterward, the students begin their own introductions. A tall girl with long purple hair, Chu Shi, says her specialty lies in the arts. Next is a lively pink-haired girl, Zhong, who cheerfully shares her passion for anime, cosplay, and sports. Following her, a boy named Peng Huawang casually states that he enjoys playing video games at home. When it's Han Han's turn, all eyes fall on her. The attention makes her uneasy, but she pushes through, softly saying her name. She mentions that she likes to draw and politely asks everyone for guidance. Finally, Lin Zichen rises. His introduction is short and straight to the point. He simply states his name and requests everyone's support. Time slips by quickly. After class, a new student with brown hair approaches Han Han. Her sudden approach startles Han Han, but the girl gets straight to the point. She asks about Han's entrance exam score. Shun Han nervously admits her entrance exam score was a 709, then politely asks the new girl, Chu Sui, about hers. Chu Sui looks impressed and blurts out that Han's score is over 10 points higher than her own 698. Curious, Chu Sui quickly shifts the topic to the physical fitness test. She confesses she only got 95 out of 100, then asks Han about her score. The question makes Shun's heart sink. She stutters, trying to dodge, her mind racing. Her actual score was just 79, so low she had barely made it into the elite class. Saying it aloud feels humiliating, but Chu Sui doesn't pick up on her discomfort. She cheerfully guesses, was it 94? Maybe 93? Shun lowers her gaze, her voice barely audible as she admits it was even lower. Chu Sui, undeterred, keeps tossing out guesses in the low 90s, each one making Han's embarrassment worse. Then bang, a hand slams against the desk between them. Both girls jolt. Standing there is Lin Zichen. Calmly, he leans closer and asks Han if she'd add him on WeChat. The sudden attention from a handsome boy leaves her stunned, then delighted. She nods eagerly, happy to agree. From her seat, Shin exhales in relief. The awkward moment has been broken, and she silently thanks Lin Zichen for stepping in. Without missing a beat, Lin turns to another classmate, Hiyu, and casually asks to exchange contact details as well. Once they're connected, he creates a small 4-person group chat. A system notification instantly pings, task complete. His progress toward the social animal achievement ticks up, 2 out of 1,000. He notes how unexpectedly simple this quest is. The group begins chatting, sharing bits of their lives. Lin Zichen explains he's from Yuan City, where his family runs a respected martial arts dojo. He even mentions proudly that he ranked 8th in the city's youth martial arts tournament. Chu Sui chimes in next, revealing her family owns a chain of clothing stores, giving her a well-off background. Shun and Lin each share their own stories, and before long, the 4 of them feel like genuine friends. As the mood warms, Hiyu poses a playful challenge. Who do they think is the strongest student in class? Chu Sui answers without hesitation, pointing at Lin Zichen. She reasons that he must be the strongest since he topped the entire district in the entrance exam. Hiyu looks stunned at the revelation, clearly impressed. But Lin Zichen simply smiles, shaking his head. He reminds them that being first on paper doesn't automatically mean being the strongest. Then he drops a surprising truth. Lin Zichen reveals that the principal had gone to great lengths to recruit 2 outstanding students from Yuan City into their class. He points them out one by one. The first is Wang, a blonde-haired boy ranked 3rd in the entire city. His speed is frightening. He can finish the 100-meter dash in just 7.98 seconds. The second is Liu Gang, a towering figure with raw, overwhelming strength. To prove it, he can casually lift a 300-kilogram barbell with a single hand. The class watches in awe. Shen Han and Chu Sui both look astonished, their confidence shaken by such talent. Lin Zichen, however, remains unbothered. Inside, he can't help but scoff. He had already surpassed those feats back in elementary school. Soon the bell rings again, signaling the textbook distribution. This semester's focus covers 4 main subjects: martial arts, gene fusion, mechanical modification, and wilderness survival. Having already studied all of this material on his own, Lin sees no need to waste time. Instead, he slips away to train in private. As he pushes himself, his mind shifts to the dangers beyond school walls. The rat god cult is still at large. Authorities have managed to capture a few lower-level followers, but the Rat King himself, the cult's leader, remains untouched. The thought steals Lin's resolve. If he wants to stand against that threat, he must reach Tier 6 strength as soon as possible. Only then will he have a chance to fight the Rat King head-on. Their first hands-on lesson is wilderness survival. Teacher Shi Chungbi gathers the students in a nearby forest and asks if anyone can start a fire by drilling wood. He scoffs under his breath, calling it pointless. But to everyone's surprise, both Wang El and Lu Gang step forward and succeed. The teacher applauds them, curious how they learned. Lu Gang explains he picked it up during a summer camp, while Wang Shua casually mentions he mastered it just by watching videos online. Afterward, Lin Zikin quietly demonstrates the same technique to his group, guiding them step by step until they, too, succeed with ease. Next comes martial art class. Instructor Yao Yuanfang announces he will be teaching a special breathing and cultivation technique. Before he can even begin, Wang Shua and Lu Gang jump in again, boasting that they've already learned it. They perform the moves in front of everyone, sloppy but still functional. Lin Zikin already has these skills down to perfection, yet he chooses not to show off, keeping his strength hidden. In this rhythm, the days blur together. A month slips by without major incident. Until one day, in mechanical modification class, their teacher, Caillou Fui, suddenly announces a practical test to measure their progress. The mechanical modification teacher announces cash prizes for the top 3, 888 yuan for first, 666 for second, and 333 for third. Lin Zichen instantly does the math. First place almost buys half a gene of savage giant eagle meat. Motivated, the students begin the exam. At the same time, the gene fusion teacher, Lu Duran, springs the surprise test with the same prize structure. After both grueling exams, the class is exhausted. Hiyu drops onto his desk and groans. Several classmates complain about how hard the papers were. One girl says she'd hoped for a 90, but now expects to be lucky to pass with 60. Meanwhile, Wang and Lu Gang trade casual boasts. Wang says he probably lost points only on the final section and expects a 95. Lu Gang echoes the same prediction for himself. Hearing them, Hiyu tightens his fists and thinks about punching them. That's where we'll leave it for now. If you want to catch the next part, make sure to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss it.